and welcome back to another episode of the Knitting Eillets Podcast. I'm Eillets, I'm a 38, almost, not yet, 37-year-old knitter from Switzerland originally, but living in France now since 1.5 years in our house. And on this channel I'm just talking about my knitting experiences, sometimes also garden stuff or house stuff or life stuff, but very rarely. Mostly it's about knitting. So welcome back to another episode, and I would say let's get started. As you can hear on my voice, without a doubt, I've been sick. I caught a cold and it went onto my voice, and I was practically mute for some days. I have it for 10 days now, so it's taking a while to kind of get back to normal. But I'm willing to give it that time. I also had a snotty nose and everything, a little bit of a cough. So I hope my voice will make it through this episode. I had a very busy time work-wise, and we did a lot of work around the house in the garden. So I didn't have as much time to knit as I would have liked to. That resolves in the fact that I don't have too much to show you today. But I can and will tell you in the end of the video, I will tell you about my double face knitting course I made and a little tiny bit about the Swiss Yarn Festival, which is also like my kind of bring homes from there. But let's get started with my 2 finished objects, and one of them is the thing I'm wearing. So let's start with that. So what I'm wearing with my first finished object is my garden pullover by Ankestrick. It's a German designer. I knitted it in the English, after the English version, because I prefer the English pattern writing to German. It is knit with drops cotton merino in this really lovely, very pinkish pink. And as you can see, I combined it fell, with the Lana Grossa Setasuri in the color 26, and this is color, does it have a color name? Color 5. And I combined those two, and it kind of gave me this lovely dusty antique rose pinkish thing. So this would definitely be too pinkish for my liking, and this would be a little bit too grey, but together I think they give this really nice antique rose look, which I really like. In the pattern she suggests cotton merino and the Lana Grossa Setasuri. So she has a 19 stitch gauge with merino, cotton merino and the Setasuri silk. It was of course very nice for me to see a pattern actually with a Suri alpaca silk yarn, not with a mohair silk, because I really hate the mohair. And this is, of course, it's much softer for my taste than the mohair. And the cotton merino is, of course, is very soft and lovable to knit with. So I love this combination. And I wanted it as a kind of a spring summer sweater. So in summer especially, we often have 35 degrees during the day, but in the evening it kind of drops to 18 degrees, and that's when I get a little bit chilly with my summer dresses. So I wanted something to kind of throw over it, which maybe it's too hot on some nights, but especially now in the spring weather it's really lovely with the lace pattern. The jumper is kind of a drop shoulder design. Sorry, wrong side, as you can see. So it's actually, the construction is quite simple. You kind of start with a rectangular back piece without any decreases or increases whatsoever. And then you take the 2 sides with the collar, and they are overlapped in the back, which is quite a nice detail. I don't know if I can show you that or if you can see it, because I can't see what I'm doing. Let me see. Can you see the old cross here? So that is a very nice feature I liked on the jumper, on the pictures. That's why I chose it, and I love the oversized, easy fit. It was quite easy to knit, as there's not much shaping at all. There is a little bit of short rows on the back when you pick up for the shoulder parts or the front parts, because the short rows makes it go a little bit like this, so to give you space for the neck. Although I do have a really kind of a fit issue with this jumper, and to show you that I need to put the camera a little bit further away so you can see the whole sweater. So as you can see when I'm standing here, it looks all fine, but when I turn to the side, you can see that it kind of goes up and it kind of makes this weird point at the front. I really have not much bust, so the bust is not the problem. In this case, the problem is the neckline, how it's designed. The neckline is not really stretchy because of the way how you construct it, and it's also quite small here in the back. And this pulls this whole sweater kind of a little bit upwards, and that gives it this little, you see when I pull it a bit on the back and kind of bring it down nicely, it sits nicely, but when I move around and it kind of rolls, it kind of pulls back a bit here at the back of the neck because it's kind of too tight. It starts doing this little pull-up thing here. So yeah, it's not bad, but I would not make it again like that. So as I said whilst moving the table, I'm not a fan of this kind of neckline construction. So I would not knit it again like this, because I think the neckline is just too tight in the back, because you kind of knit overlap, and the only shaping you have is these few short rows that make the angle a little bit for it to go outward, but it's not enough, I think. So I was quite worried when I knitted it. My head would actually fit through, and I didn't stop. I had to stop like left, right, mirror. I had to stop like here from the original pattern, and also from on the underarm, and I did size it up. I thought, oh no, that's way too short, so I lengthened it for another 2 to 3 centimeters, both sides and the back, which for the underarm, I mean, here's my shoulder, it's not too bad. 3 centimeters less would have been quite tight, actually. So I'm glad I did that, but I'm still not happy on how the neckline is lying, because it gets this weird, because it's so tight here in the back, it kind of pulls it like this. It wants to sit further in the back than it actually does, which makes this pull up on the front. So not a fan of the construction of the neckline, not at all. The pattern is not that hard, so you could have done normal increases for a normal V-neck. I don't know why she constructed it like that, but it's not working for me. So yeah, I love the fit of the pullover. I did the bigger sleeves because I was worried they were too tight. So I chose the sleeve of the next size, which was a good choice, I think. And then I decreased a bit more in the front. Sleeve length she's on the thing. The whole thing I like. I like the look. I love the feel of the pattern and the wool and everything. It's just the construction of the neckline that kind of doesn't work for me. So be a little bit aware if you need that pullover, that the neckline, you might have to lengthen it to actually fit your head through, then like longer than she suggests in the pattern. And because of the few stitches, the last 3 stitches are kind of a border, don't know if you can see that. It's not just, so it doesn't roll, it's not just a garter stitch, of course. It's kind of a slip, knit, and then in the other direction you turn around, you knit it flat. And it makes it very unstretchable, so I can hardly stretch it, and I'm also a very tight knitter, so maybe that is also a problem. But the whole neckline area is too tight, not stretchy enough, and the construction, I think, is too close. I would have preferred like a normal V-neck, which would fit, I I think it would fit a lot better then. So that's a bit of pity, because I get a little bit annoyed of this little like point sticking up on the front when it's pulled backwards, but well, it's not bad. It's wearable, it's okay. It's for chilling at home and easy peasy sweater, that's okay. But I wouldn't knit it again like that. So yeah, pity, because the rest is all, I love it. I love the wool. I'm thinking about making another sweater with this wool combination actually, because I really like it that much. And it's, of course, even if you don't do a lace pattern, it would be not as warm as a normal wool, full wool sweater with the cotton and the, yes, the alpaca is warm, but the silk and the cotton and a little bit merino gives it a bit more stretch than it would with just cotton and alpaca. Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing another very simple V-neck sweater with kind of this wool combination. Have to oil my voice. The next finished object I don't have actually with me, because it was a gift for my mom to her birthday, and I knitted her a Lana vest. I will pop in a picture somewhere, and I will pop in a picture of my finished object. It turned out really lovely, and I am actually thinking about making one for me. She chose the yarn actually, so we went to the yarn shop and she chose the yarn, and she was starstruck by the Lana Grossa Cool Merino Big in the color 239. So this dark, vibrant king blue, like it's a wonderful blue. The yarn is very interesting. It's kind of a chained yarn. So I don't know if you can see that, but the yarn is not twisted, it's actually chained. So it's kind of like crocheted already. And it's very soft and squishy and fluffy, and oh, it's so nice. The yarn is made out of 90% wool, merino wool, and 10% polyamide. So, oh, it's so soft, and I really am. I love this yarn, and I love the color also, and it suits my mom very perfectly. I hit gauge and used, I think, a 5.5 millimeter needles to knit that, and the yarn suggests a 7 to 8 millimeter needles, but I hit gauge with a 5.5 millimeter needles. The Lana vest is really nicely constructed and a lovely pattern to knit, but you have to focus because of the many cables and patterns and everything that is going on. You also have to focus on the, when you kind of start flat, you also have to focus on the back rows, like the other rows. Oh my gosh. Oh, what am I talking? So when you knit back and forth, you also have to pay attention. The back row is not the same as the, like you can't just go all lefts or rights, or because the pattern in the middle with the left permanent knit stitches, it kind of goes on the back side. So you have every row and later every round you have to kind of watch what you're knitting. So it's a bit of a, you have to get your head into it. Once you're in the pattern, you kind of start to see where you are and it gets easier. But I couldn't just like watch TV and knit the Lana vest. I really had to concentrate on it. Yeah, I did one or two mistakes, but you hardly can see it. So like I twisted the cables in the wrong direction, or I forgot. Yeah, it can happen. My mom loves it. It suits her perfectly. I just have some blocking pictures. She doesn't want to be in the internet, so I don't have pictures of it worn, but it fits her perfectly. She wanted it longer than the pattern suggested and very loose fitting, so yeah, that's what I gave her. And I had to actually, that's what I left, because I made it longer, I didn't have enough yarn to do the armhole ribbing. So I really had to buy another skein of yarn or ball of yarn. It's 50-gram balls, just for the armhole ribbings. That's why I have a lot left. It's not that bad. I can do like I'm thinking about making her maybe a headband or so for winter. It will be enough. So yeah. Lovely project and really on my to-do list for myself. But I need a bit of a cable break now, so I'm not too fond of knitting cables. I prefer lace a lot more because I think it's just much more easier and quicker. It looks so good in the end, but I don't like the process of knitting cables. So these are my only two finished projects, plus the secret test knit I did for the Creabea. I also had this one, and I think I was on it in the last, and I had a deadline just like 2 days before my mom's birthday, so I have only one whip. Okay, so I'm actually knitting the Texture and Twist Shawl by Robbie Laughlin. Laughlin? I mispronounce your surname for sure. I'm really sorry. Laughlin? I can't. I don't know how to pronounce that one. It is actually a very triangular shawl. I'm trying to put a picture in it. So it's just like you start small and then you kind of grow the triangle, and it's quite like a 90 degrees, a rectangular triangle. And I wasn't sure about the shape of the shawl because I always think about the wearability of a shawl. I want to wear a shawl actually, and I hate it if it kind of slips back and everything. So I decided to kind of change the shape, and I kind of increased and decrease again. So that is where I am at the moment. So here I started on this edge here, and first I increased as he said, just to every second row, and then I realized it will get like too wide and not long enough, so I changed it to increase every second time, he says, sorry, fourth row, and that's what I did here. And you can see the texture is really lovely. Maybe I'll show you the brighter one, it's easier to see here. So you do this garter rib at the both ends, and then you have these, sorry, threads hanging around here, and then you have these this part, this section, first with this holy pattern, then the ribs, then this diagonal stripes, and then ribs again, and then it's just repeating itself. I loved this kind of texture part, and I did this 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then at the 5th time, the middle part here, which is actually the middle part, I started decreasing. So it's, I would have loved to do 4 parts like of the beige here, but I don't think I have enough wool. I have Cashsoft by Lana. I don't have a ball band. I have it in this color and in this oaky grayish dark beige thing. And I only had 3 ball of this and 2 of that one. So I really was short, and you can't buy it again. It's expired. That's why I'm not, it's no use of showing you like the ball band and everything. It's not available anymore. And I looked everywhere, and this was kind of the last rest I could gather of on a shop, but not all of the same color. So I decided to do a striped shawl, like darker parts in it. So I have 2 dark parts in here. I have the bigger middle section, which is 3 times the whole repeat. And starting from the second one, I did no increases or decreases here for this pattern part here. I just stayed on the same amount of stitches, and I started decreasing. Then I had to slow down my decreasing, because if this is the middle, I increased 1 and I started increasing at 1.5. So I kind of did only every 8 rounds. So I slowed down my decreasing to they kind of match in width. You see, I realized they don't match in the width here. So this one is quite a bit shorter, but they match here again. I managed to kind of assimilate them by just not increasing as much. No, you can't see a thing, I'm sorry. Trying to hold that so you can see what I mean. So here I'm back to the same amount of stitches, whilst here the curve is a little bit steeper. You won't see it when I'm wearing it around my neck, so I'm not too worried about that. I did already the bright here, now I'm the light color. Then there's another small part of the dark color coming in the light end. So it's quite long already. So I could kind of wear it like that. And this wool will stretch out. It's a nice shawl to kind of wear it around my neck once like this. And it should be like a lighter shawl, not a winter. It's very cold Arctic temperatures shawl. It should be like a spring chilly breeze, autumn chilly breeze shawl, but it's still not winter, so I don't want like the huge shawls or the very warm woolly ones. And this will stretch out quite a lot. I know this wool, I knitted some stuff with it, and I know it will stretch out quite a bit. So I probably can also wear it like this, like as a little of a shoulder piece. Yeah, it's not finished yet, so I'm missing a part here. So yeah, it will be like a nice little shoulder shawl, or to wrap it around if I want to. So that was my goal, to have kind of a very versatile little shawl, not too big, so it's not impractical. I'm all tangled, wait a second. So back to my a little bit better, not tangled self. So that's why I changed the shape, because this other triangle, the short one, is almost, you can see it on the photos, the last tip is like here, so it will not hold. And the big one is kind of very wide. So that's why I changed the shape, but I kept the pattern because I really love the stitch pattern. It looks so nice. And I love the colors. It's grayish, more grayish on the screen than it is in real life. It's really that beige gray. So it's very harmonious together, I think. I love the combi. And yeah, I wouldn't have had enough wool just with one color. That's why I combined those two. So it's a bit of a rest scrap yarn project also. And I love this wool. It's so soft, and it's recycled cashmere with merino wool. I don't know why Lana Long Yarns is not producing this wool anymore. I asked them and they couldn't give me an answer. They just said, find another of our wool. And I was like, I don't want another wool. I love this one. Yeah, so it's really soft, and it will really soften up when you wash it, and it will stretch quite a bit, I think. That's the Twisted Texture and Twist Shawl by Robbie Laughlin. I'm still sorry about the name. And that is everything I have knitted so far. I haven't yet started another project because I'm a bit unsure what to start. I think it will be a vest because summer is coming. I'm not sure how much I will be able to knit this summer. That is also why I'm announcing right now that I'm not sure if I'm doing a summer break with the channel. So maybe there will be a video in midsummer somewhere, but it depends on how much I can knit actually. I intend to knit, and I will find time to knit, but I don't know how much. So it will be a bit of a more stretched out schedule, irregular like it is already. I just couldn't manage to do it like every 4 weeks. There was too much to do, and with it being sick and everything. There might be a summer break, quite a long one. There might be a video or two coming. I just can't promise it. I'm leaving it up to me and how I feel, how much I knit it. Yeah, how much time I have. We have loads of plans. We are kind of stuck right now because we're still waiting for the permission to finish something that was started a half a year ago. So we have a huge hole and a trench through the whole backyard from the house to the street, which we always have to jump over when we want to go from one side of the garden to the other. It's annoying, really annoying. And yeah, once that is closed up, we will have a lot to catching up to do, like moving the polytunnel and then building my partner's rabbit paradise. He wants to have rabbits, so we want to build them a rabbit paradise. So that will be a lot of work coming, and that's why I don't know how much I can knit. So that's also why I'm not knitting a particular summer pattern. First of all, I think I have enough summer tops and t-shirts. I don't wear a lot of knitted garments in the real summer because it's just too hot. Even silk knitted, I sweat. It's too hot. When you have 35, almost 40 degrees Celsius, it's nothing for me with a knitted thicker fabric. I'm all for the light cotton flowy gowns, and so I'm not wearing a lot of knitted stuff during the really hot summer. So I have enough. So I'm not planning to do a specific summer pattern, but I want to do a vest because I really love wearing vests. And from the secret test knit, I could have a free pattern as a thank you. I actually can have two, and I have not decided on my second one from the Creabea. So I took the Lynx pattern, and I want to do the Lynx vest, the V-neck vest. I still have some wool from the Swiss Yarn Festival last year, beige with a tweed, and I have a dark brown, which she actually did a speckled vest with a dark, also a light one with a dark pattern, and I really like that combination, so I'm very drawn to do that. I also have a sweater I really want to make, which is the circadian sweater. So the circadian sweater, and I really want to do the colors of the picture I'm blending in right now somewhere. Nice autumn jumper. I will do long sleeves. I'm not yet sure. I really would love to do the bell sleeves. I'm not yet sure if I have enough yarn, so if I feel like I'm a little bit tight on yarn, I will do the straight sleeves, and it will be fine too, but I really would love the bell sleeves. I love this pattern. It looks so lovely. It's like my vision of an Indian summer or a autumn on a lake like pattern, and you can see the lake glittering through the autumn trees, like something like that. So really looking forward to doing that sweater. And I want to do some fingerless mitts because the ones from my stable are absolutely broken. They're coming apart everywhere, and yeah, the wool is done. And I have the same ones, which I will take for the stable, and I will knit myself some new ones. I have enough yarn here to do that. I have not yet decided which yarn, so I will have something small on the needles also for summer. And as you can see, I bought some sock yarn on the Swiss Yarn Festival, so let's get to that. So the Swiss Yarn Festival this year, I really wanted to buy some DK wool in green for a sweater, and I was a bit disappointed that there was almost no DK wool. There was very few vendors that had DK weight wool, and often it was very scratchy and rough wool, which is not at all for me. So I did not buy that much. I only bought these three things that you see in the background, and I will show them to you now one by one. So first, let's start with Giggling Gecko yarns. I found this Socklandia socks yarn, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. And I mean, the name is Autumn Harvest, and look at those colors. I mean, if this is not screaming Halloween and pumpkin, and oh, I can't wait to do some Halloween socks with them. Really looking forward to knit that one up. It will look so nice. Giggling Gecko yarns. Really love it. I mean, wow. Look at those colors. Like, autumn dream socks. Like, oh my gosh. It will be so nice. quickstrick.com. It was a set, and it was quite it was not expensive, like 20 francs or so for the set. So I was like, that's totally my colors. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% polyamide, and I mean, I love the combination also. Very like autumn wood, like beginning of autumn wood colors, and such a nice color combo. Love it, and I'm looking forward to doing some socks out of this one. I tell now I'm doing socks. Maybe there will be other projects coming out of those, but I really love knitting socks. It's very relaxing, I think. I do not wear knitted socks that often. I wear them a lot in winter because I think they're very comfortable and a lot warmer than my usual socks. But I'm not wearing them like every day. So there's also a bit, how many socks do I need actually? And I have quite a lot of socks. I have some old ones which I don't wear very often because the fit is not quite right. And mostly the cuff is too tight. And then I couldn't walk past, and this is very untypical me, this one. Andromeda by das Mondschaf. And I mean, look at this color. It's gorgeous, and it has this sparkly speckle thing in it. I love it. This will not become socks because I already have some sparkly Christmas socks and I'm fine with those. I think these will become leg warmers because imagine if I have the annual Christmas concert of our school and I'm wearing a nice dress and having these, because in the church it's so cold all the time, and I'm wearing these sparkly nice leg warmers. So that will be sure, I'm very sure this will become some leg warmers. But this is of course a project I might do like pre-Christmas time, because just of the wool, it's kind of sparkly Christmas feeling. I can see myself knitting those leg warmers watching a Christmas movie or something during a cold November, beginning of December night. And yeah, oh, I love it. I mean, this dark blackberry color with this sparkle is just so beautiful. Now let's get to the last point, which was the double face knitting course I did. And that was really interesting. It's a really interesting technique. It's a color work technique, so you work with two colors at the same time. And double face means you have two right sides and you knit them at the same time. So you kind of might knit like an enclosed space. So if you don't do it right, you have kind of an opening, a gap on the side where you could look through. So you have to do a special thing when you go back and forth to interlock the yarns. And of course, when you do a color work pattern, you kind of interweave the yarns like this so it holds together there. So quite a special technique. You have to have your mind on it, especially at the beginning, I think. But the big pluses of this, or advantages of these techniques for me are, it's color work, but it's the same. It has the same flexibility as if you would knit stockinette stitch, because you go left, right, and you have the two sides. It's not like the long floats or anything, and you have the same flexibility. It's double knit fabric, so it's warmer than just normal stockinette stitch, which brings its own advantages. And kind of interchangeable. You can kind of, when you do a cow, you do like white and blue. Then you have, at one side, you have the white background and the blue pattern. And if you turn it inside out, you have the blue background and the pattern on white. So that is really cool. Like you get two products at once. I want to do a cowl, color work cowl, because I don't have one. And I think especially in stables, I would, or when I work in the garden in the winter, I would prefer a cowl over a shawl, because the shawl always kind of drops and everything. So I want to do a cowl, and really want to try is colorwork socks. with this method, like a combination. So I always knit my socks top down. No, that's wrong. Bottom up, from toe up. That's why I got confused. Toe up, not top. Toe up. And I always struggle when I do color work at the, like, under the brim or under the last bit. I normally just do a little bit of color work, just the upper part of the sock. I don't see the hustle of doing all over color work when it's in your shoes. So, but this little section, I'm fighting. Every time I have to do it like 3 or 4 times because I knit so tightly. I go up 2 needle sizes. I increase stitches like up to 6 or 8 stitches. And still it just fits just like that over my foot in the end. I tried knitting it inside everything, so I really struggle with color work in socks, which is a pity because I love it. So I want to try, like, do a normal toe up sock with the heel and everything, and then when there comes the color work section, like a small band, I want to kind of double the stitches. And I already talked it through with the course instructor how I would have to do that. I would have to double the stitches, then bring the second color in, and then I just do a double face part. So it would be a little bit thicker there, but it would keep the same stretch. So that would be a way, and after the colorwork section I would kind of take away the contrast color and decrease the stitches back to the normal circumference stitches. That might actually work. Yes, it will give me a kind of a thicker part of the sock at the top of the leg, which I think is not a problem. When I'm wearing woolen socks, I want warm legs, so I wouldn't mind that. Maybe it's a bit of a hindrance. Maybe when I actually wear them, I find it uncomfortable. I don't know, so I really want to try it. Double face is on my knitting list for autumn too. That's it. That's this episode. I'm glad my voice made it to the end. I'm wishing you a very lovely rest of spring and summer. As I said, don't know when I will upload the next episode or if I do a longest kind of summer break. I'm wishing you a lovely summer. If you want to, you can find me on Ravelry as Eillets and on Instagram as knitting_Eillets. And I would be really happy if you liked that video. And of course, you can always comment under the video and I will see it and answer you if possible. So have a nice time. Bye.